Good afternoon, Mr. President. Thank you so much. I also want to step up and support SCR 145, the 153rd anniversary of Juneteenth. But there's something special this year as well. It is the 200th birthday of Frederick Douglass. And so if we're talking about education curriculum, I just want to share a few things about Mr. Douglass. He was a rebel for freedom from the start of his life. He was born a slave around 1818 in Talbot County, Maryland. He early defied bans on slaves learning to read, later becoming one of the leading intellectuals of his day. After several unsuccessful attempts, he finally escaped slavery in 1838 by boarding a train to the north. He wrote how he felt on arriving in New York City. "I have often been asked how I felt when I first found myself on free soil, and my readers may share the same curiosity. There is scarcely anything in my experience about which I could not give a more satisfactory answer. A new world had opened upon me. If life is more than breath and the quick round of blood, I lived more in one day than in a year of my slave life." 11 days later, he married Anna Murray, a free black woman in Maryland whose freedom had inspired him to seek his own freedom. Douglass became a preacher of the African Methodist Episcopal AME Zion Church in New York City, whose members included fellow abolitionists Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth. His oratorical skills blossomed, and he preached frequently, as well as giving speeches in secular forums about freeing all slaves. He roused audiences with his firsthand descriptions of the hardships slaves endured. His 1845 autobiography, 15 years before the Civil War started, narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, became a bestseller, and reviewers praised his eloquence. A 2-year tour of England and Ireland found many who attended churches that were crowded to suffocation. When the Civil War started in 1861, Douglass urged Republican President Lincoln to make greater use of black troops, then help recruit soldiers, including 2 of his own sons. Douglass backed Republican U.S. Grant in 1868, who then signed the Civil Rights Act of 1871 and applied the law with a crackdown on anti-black groups. In 1877, Douglass met and forgave Thomas Auld, his former slave master, then close to death. Douglass continued preaching for equality, education, and self-improvement until his death in 1895 at the age of 77, but he also advanced the rights of women and so many other causes. Just a great American, and just want to recognize him on this opportunity. I want to thank the Senator from Gardena for the opportunity, and also want to recognize Judge Kevin Brown, who's in the audience today as well, good friend. Thank you very much, Mr. President.